September 22, 1992, 1:33 in the morning, Las Vegas. A man walks out of the Stardust casino. He is carrying a black duffel bag. He does not run. He does not look over his shoulder. He walks across the parking lot, gets into his car, and drives away. Inside the bag is $507,361 in cash and casino chips. He has not won it. The casino has not given it to him. He has taken it from the sportsbook page where he works as a cashier. He has walked out through a side door that no camera was watching. The casino will not realize the money is missing for another 30 minutes. By then, Bill Brennan will be gone. Not arrested, not caught, not hiding. Gone. He has never been found. The Stardust Casino opened on July 2, 1958. At the time, it was the largest hotel in the world. 1,065 rooms, a casino floor covering 16,500 square feet. For the next 2 decades, it operated as the center of the largest casino skimming operation in American history. The man who ran it was Frank Rosenthal. His name was Lefty. He was a professional bookmaker with connections to the Chicago outfit. He supervised the theft of millions in unreported casino revenue. Cash was skimmed from the counting room before it reached tax authorities. Couriers carried bags of money to mob bosses in Chicago, Cleveland, Milwaukee, and Kansas City. In 1983, a federal grand jury indicted 15 people. Frank Rosenthal was banned from Nevada casinos for life. His story became the basis for the film Casino. Robert De Niro played him. In 1985, Boyd Gaming purchased the Stardust. The mob era was officially over. The casino became corporate, but certain things did not change. The money still flowed, the workers were still disposable, and the sportsbook remained the most important in Las Vegas. Frank Rosenthal built the Stardust Sportsbook in 1976. It was the first legal sportsbook inside a major Las Vegas casino. By 1992, it set the opening betting lines for every major sporting event in America. Bookmakers across the country waited for those numbers each morning. The operation handled enormous volumes of cash. On NFL Sundays, hundreds of thousands of dollars passed through the betting windows. Monday Night Football generated massive action. A single bettor might wager $11,000 to win $10,000. Payouts of $21,000 were routine. Security procedures were strict. Cameras covered every inch of the floor. Multiple employees verified each transaction. At the end of each shift, cashiers sealed the takings in a duffel bag for transport to a central counting room. The money was never supposed to leave anyone's sight. William John Brennan was 34 years old in September 1992. He had worked at the Stardust Sportsbook for 4 years as a cashier. He processed bets. He paid out winners. At the end of his shift, he prepared the takings for transport to the counting room. Scotty Shetler was the sportsbook director who hired him. He described Bill as reliable, accurate, good with numbers. Richard Saber was a manager who worked alongside Bill. He remembered him differently. He was basically a total complete loner, Saber said. He lived alone with his cat. Bill lived in a residential motel called the Convention Center Lodge on Desert Inn Road. His apartment was modest, 1 bedroom. He drove an old Nissan. He had no girlfriend. His only companion was a cat named Booger. The apartment manager, Judy Pope, remembered him as just a nice kid. He paid rent on time. He never caused problems. Bill worked the late shift. He clocked in at 6 p.m. and out at 2 a.m. After work, he drove home. He ate dinner alone. He watched television. The next day, he did it again, for 4 years. In 1991, Bill applied for a promotion to supervisor. Scotty Shetler denied it. Bill's attitude had changed, he said. He had been influenced by outside sources. Shetler no longer trusted him. The outside source was a gambler, a big bettor. The casino did not know his name. The big bettor appeared at the Stardust Sportsbook sometime in 1991. He placed large wagers. He lost often enough that the casino tolerated his presence. But the staff noticed something. The gambler spent time talking to Bill Brennan. Not casual exchanges, real conversations, extended discussions at the counter and during breaks. Other employees noticed Bill's demeanor changing. He seemed agitated. He complained about the casino. He talked about being passed over. He said management did not appreciate him. The gambler encouraged these complaints. He told Bill the casino was cheating him. that the system was rigged against workers, that men in suits got rich while cashiers lived on minimum wage. Richard Saber watched the friendship develop. "This was a bettor that we didn't trust," he later told investigators. "He was a shady character." There were rumors about the gambler's background, connections to people the casino preferred not to know. Saber warned Bill directly, "That guy is going to get you nothing but trouble." Bill did not listen. Sometime in 1992, Richard Saber visited Bill's apartment. They were co-workers, not close friends. But Saber was curious about the man everyone ignored. The apartment was sparse: a bed, a television, a cat. But Saber noticed something on a shelf: a book. The title was How to Disappear Completely and Never Be Found. The book had been published in 1985. It was a guide to starting over. Chapters covered planning a disappearance, arranging new identification, finding work under a false name, and avoiding detection. The author had interviewed people who had successfully vanished. Saber noticed the book but said nothing. It did not mean anything at the time. It meant everything later. Bill knew the Stardust sportsbook better than anyone. He knew the procedures, the schedules, the security. He knew his supervisor took a 45-minute break each night. During that window, Bill was alone in the cage with access to the shift's takings. He also knew the corridor from the sportsbook to the counting room had a weakness. The surveillance cameras were old, installed during the mob era. The coverage was basic. There was a gap, and near that gap, a side door led to the parking lot. It was not alarmed. If someone walked through that door instead of continuing to the counting room, no camera would record them leaving. In the summer of 1992, the big bettor stopped coming to the Stardust. He disappeared without explanation. The casino assumed he had moved on. Richard Saber noticed the timing. "He disappeared from the face of the earth, too," Saber said, just a few months after Bill had gone. Whether the gambler helped Bill plan the theft or planned to take the money from Bill afterward, no one knows. Both men vanished. Neither has been seen since. September 21st, 1992, Monday night. The New York Giants are playing the Chicago Bears. The game is broadcast nationally on ABC. It is the third week of the NFL season. Gamblers across America are watching and betting. At the Stardust Sportsbook, the betting windows are crowded. The handle is massive. This is one of the biggest betting nights of the year outside of the Super Bowl. Cash flows through the cage in enormous volumes. Bill Brennan clocks in at 6 p.m. for the late shift. He is reliable as always. He takes his position at the counter. He processes bets. He pays out winners. He does his job. At 7:30 p.m., he jokes with a coworker. At 10:15 p.m., he logs a routine chip count. At 11 p.m., he takes his scheduled break. 10 minutes, half a cigarette. He returns to his station. Everything is normal. The Giants beat the Bears 27-14. The game ends. The betting windows close. The sportsbook begins counting the night's takings. 12:50 a.m., September 22nd, 1992. Bill receives the shift's takings. The count is complete. The total is $507,361. Approximately $225,000 is in cash, $20 bills, $50 bills, $100 bills. Approximately $280,000 is in casino chips, high-denomination chips that can be exchanged for cash at the cage. The money weighs approximately 11 pounds, maybe more. Bill checks the pre-count. Everything is in order. He places the cash and chips in a regulation Stardust duffel bag, black, standard issue. He seals the bag. He attaches the security tag. He signs the log confirming he has taken possession. A second employee watches him complete the procedure. This is standard protocol. 2 sets of eyes on the money at all times. The employee sees Bill pick up the bag. He sees Bill walk toward the corridor that leads to the central counting room. He does not see what happens next. 1:11 a.m. Surveillance footage shows Bill Brennan walking through the corridor. He passes the vending machine. He passes a bank of payphones. He approaches the section where the cameras have a gap. He does not reach the counting room. Investigators later determined that Bill turned left. There was a side door in the blind spot. It led to the parking lot. The door was not alarmed. Employees used it regularly. No one questioned a man in work clothes carrying a duffel bag. He was doing his job, moving money from one place to another. That's what cashiers did. Bill walked through the door. He crossed the parking lot. He got into his car. By 1:33 a.m., Bill Brennan was driving away from the Stardust Casino with over $500,000. No alarm sounded. No guards pursued him. No one knew the money was gone. 2 a.m. Bill's shift ends. The money was supposed to be in the counting room by now. A shift supervisor calls to confirm the deposit. There is no record of it. The supervisor checks the logs. Bill signed out the bag at 12:50 a.m. He never signed it in. Security is alerted. They pull the surveillance tapes. They watch Bill walk down the corridor with the duffel bag. They watch him approach the camera blind spot. They watch the footage after the gap. He does not appear. They rewind. They watch again, frame by frame. Bill enters the gap. Bill does not exit. The Stardust calls the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. Metro Fraud Division responds. Lieutenant Joe Greenwood takes the case. He was supposed to turn in the money at about 2 a.m., Greenwood told reporters the next day, and at 1:30, he was observed in the hotel. At that time, we believe he was leaving. Officers are dispatched to Bill's apartment, the Convention Center Lodge on Desert Inn Road, a short drive from the casino. They expect to find him inside, panicked, drunk, ready to surrender. The door is locked. The lights are off. When they enter, they find nothing. When police enter Bill Brennan's apartment, they found it clean and orderly. The bed was made. The furniture was intact. There was no sign of a struggle, no evidence of panic. But there were gaps. Empty spaces in the closet where clothes had hung. Cleared drawers where belongings had been stored. A quiet absence where a cat should have been. Bill had taken Booger with him. On a shelf, police found a book that Richard Saber had noticed months earlier. How to Disappear Completely and Never Be Found. The pages were worn. It had been read carefully. Beside the book, investigators found other materials. Travel guides to Central America, pamphlets about countries with no extradition treaties with the United States, handwritten notes referencing banks in the Bahamas, prepaid phone cards that could not be traced. This was not an impulsive crime. Bill Brennan had been planning to disappear for months, perhaps years. The theft was the final step in a process that had begun long before September 22nd. He had studied how to vanish. He had prepared his exit. He had packed his belongings in advance. He had even made arrangements for his cat. And then he had walked out of the Stardust with $500,000 and executed his plan. The FBI was called under the Unlawful Flight to Avoid Prosecution statute. Bill Brennan became a federal fugitive. His face appeared on wanted posters. He was featured on America's Most Wanted. Tips came in, hundreds of them. Someone claimed to have seen Bill in Arizona. Another insisted he took a bus to Mexico. A third reported seeing him in Canada. None of the leads produced results. Investigators checked Bill's bank accounts. No activity after September 22nd. They monitored his family. Bill never contacted them. They watched for credit card transactions. There were none. Bill Brennan had done exactly what the book instructed. He cut all ties. He created no paper trail. He disappeared completely. 3 theories emerged to explain what happened to Bill Brennan. Theory 1. Bill got away. He followed the instructions in the book. He obtained false identification. He moved to a country with loose banking regulations and no extradition treaty. He started a new life under a new name. He is still alive today, living quietly somewhere with his cat and his money. If this theory is correct, Bill Brennan would be 66 years old. Theory 2. Bill was murdered. The gambler who befriended him was connected to organized crime. He manipulated Bill into committing the theft, planning to take the money for himself. After Bill walked out of the casino, the gambler met him somewhere in the desert. He killed Bill. He buried the body. He took the cash. Richard Saber believed this version. "I don't think Bill Brennan ever left this city," he told investigators. The gambler disappeared around the same time. He has never been found either. If he killed Bill, he covered his tracks as thoroughly as Bill covered his. Theory 3. Bill had inside help. Someone at the casino assisted him. A security guard who looked the other way, a supervisor who disabled a camera. The conspiracy reached beyond a single cashier. This would explain how Bill knew about the blind spot. It would explain how he escaped so cleanly. The casino denied this theory. The investigation found no evidence to support it. All 3 theories have the same fundamental problem. There is no evidence to prove any of them. In 2006, the United States Attorney's Office in Nevada dismissed the case. The statute of limitations had expired. The Stardust Casino closed the same year. On March 13, 2007, the building was imploded. The famous neon sign was donated to the Neon Museum. Today, Resorts World Las Vegas stands on the site. Bill Brennan remains the only person to successfully rob a Las Vegas casino from the inside and never be caught. His name is still on file with the FBI, but the active search ended long ago. The Stardust Casino operated for nearly 50 years. During that time, it took money from gamblers who believed they could beat the odds. It took money from the government through decades of unreported skimming. It took from its workers through low wages and denied promotions. In 1998, carpenters at the Stardust won a labor dispute with Boyd Gaming. They had gone 11 years without a raise. The National Labor Relations Board filed a complaint on their behalf. 11 years, no raise. The casino made billions. Bill Brennan worked in that system for 4 years. He was a cashier. He handled hundreds of thousands of dollars every night. He was accurate, reliable, invisible. The casino did not see him as a person. They saw him as a function, a pair of hands that moved money from one place to another. When he asked for more responsibility, they said no. When he made friends they did not approve of, they warned him it would cost his career. On September 22, 1992, those hands moved the money somewhere else. There is something unsettling about the Bill Brennan case. It is not the crime itself. $500,000 is significant, but casinos lose more than that to advantage players and accounting errors. It is not the method. Walking out a side door with a bag is not sophisticated. What unsettles people is the disappearance. The casino could not find him. The Las Vegas police could not find him. The FBI could not find him. America's Most Wanted broadcast his face to millions of viewers. No one turned him in. The man who spent his entire adult life being ignored became, in the end, impossible to see. The money was never recovered. The casino chips were never cashed. The case was dismissed. The building was demolished. Bill Brennan walked out a door and into history, or into a grave in the Nevada desert, or into a small town somewhere with a cat and a new name and $500,000 that no one will ever find. We do not know which. We will probably never know. That is where this story ends.